Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is the 7th tutorial in this course, and in this tutorial we are going to check out a feature of the scanf function, and that is to receive input for multiple variables in a single statement. Now, just to make things interesting, I'm going to enhance the simple interest program that we made a couple of tutorials ago. And instead of providing values to the variables that we use in the program, I'm going to ask the user of the program to supply the values as input to the variables. Right? So I've saved this file already. It's called simple_interest_enhanced.c. On lines 1 and 2, I have a comment that says receive values of principal, rate of interest, and duration from user. On line 3, I have the header file. On line 4, I've declared the main function, and I also have the curly braces, so we are all set to type in code. Now, before we use the variables, we'll have to declare them, right? So let me do that, and I have to type in int. Just a second. Int space print comma time, and the variable print is going to hold the value for the principal. The variable time is going to hold the value for the duration, and both these are integers. On the next line, I'll declare the other two variables that we are going to use in the program, and they're both going to be of the float data type. And the first one I'm going to call rate, and this is going to hold the value for rate of interest. The next one I'm going to call SI, and this is going to hold the value of the simple interest that we're going to compute. On the next line, I'm going to use printf to display a message to the user on screen instructing him do what he's supposed to do, and that is to provide the input for the variables. So enter values of principal, rate of interest. Maybe we can ask him to type in the value for duration first, and rate of interest, colon at the end, and a semicolon to terminate this statement. And now we're going to use scanf to store the values into the variables. Now, we've seen scanf in action in the previous tutorial, and we know how it works. And the only thing that we're going to do differently this time is that instead of providing just one format specifier for having the input, we are going to provide 3 format specifiers and 3 addresses, because we're going to get 3 different inputs this time, right? And the inputs are going to be for the 3 variables, and we have 2 integers and we have 1 float data type. So we're going to have %d twice, and we're going to have %f once, and %d the first time is going to be for the principal variable, second time is going to be for the duration, or sorry, the time variable, and the %f format specifier is for the rate of interest variable. And apart from mentioning the format specifier thrice, we'll also have to type in the addresses, or we have to supply the addresses to the scanf function, addresses of the 3 variables, and we're going to do that by typing in and prin and time and rate. Right now, you need to make sure that the sequence in which you provide the addresses to the scanf function matches the sequence in which you've asked the user to supply the values as input, right? So since in the printf statement here, we've asked the user to give us values of principal, duration, and rate of interest in that order, we are going to have to supply addresses in the same order, right? So that's something you need to make sure. Also, you need to make sure that you have your format specifiers in the same sequence. So since we have the %f format specifier at the end of this list, we have the address of the rate variable as the last address in the list of addresses, right? So this is going to get us the values. Now we have to compute the value for simple interest, and we're going to do that by typing in SI equals PRIN multiplied by time multiplied by rate. We have to divide the entire thing by 100, and I'm not going to explain the logic. It's very simple, and we've also checked it out before. And now we have computed the value for simple interest. We just have to display it on screen, and for that we're going to use the printf function. So printf simple interest is, we put a colon and the %f format specifier, because SI, the variable SI is of float data type, and since we're displaying a floating value, we have to use the percentage F format specifier, and you just type in SI because we're just interested in displaying the value, not the address, so we don't have to use the address of operator here. I'll put a semicolon to terminate this statement. I'll save the file, click on build and run to see what happens. There you go. I see my output window and I see the message enter values for principal, duration, and rate of interest, and I'm going to provide 10,000 as the value for principal, and press the enter key to provide the value for the duration variable. I'll enter 3 as the time period, and press enter again, this time to provide the value for rate of interest, and let me think of a floating point value. Let me provide 8.5 as the rate of interest. When I press the enter key, I see my output. Simple interest is 2550 point, you see a bunch of zeros there because simple interest, the variable SI is of floating point, so float data type, sorry. So even though there isn't any fractional value, we still see a bunch of zeros there. So there you go. Another thing that I want to talk about in this tutorial is that you must have noticed that to provide the values for 3 variables, I had to press the enter key, right? I pressed the enter key first time to provide value for the duration variable, and second time to provide value for rate of interest. You can either use the enter key or you can press the tab, right? So it's up to you to decide. I prefer pressing the enter key, and it also makes more sense to me. So that's it for now. I'll see you guys in the next tutorial, in which we'll discuss another interesting feature of the C language. So stay tuned for updates, and please subscribe to my channel in case you haven't. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.